Okay, cool. Looking fresh.
Yes, Prof. All right. May I start, Prof?
Sure. Bismillah. Yes, you may.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Rifani, for the opportunity for me to present my first data collection result. The title was Pesanteranization of Indonesian Muslim Migrant Workers, Paradigms of Thoughts and Practices of a Quranic Study Group in Penang. The title was using Pesanteranization, but after having a discussion with Prof. Rifani and based on what I delivered in my latest presentation, so I changed the title to Jamaahization. Actually, it's still debatable because actually Prof. Rifani recommended me to use the word Jamaatization, Jamaat. But you know, the word Jamaat is more related to Christians in Indonesia. I don't know outside Indonesia. But yeah, actually using Jamaat is okay. It's okay because the Arabic word using the alphabet ta marbutoh, ta marbutoh, so we can say it Jamaat or Jamaah. So yeah, I need to do more literature study about it, about Jamaah and Jamaatization. And now I use the word Jamaahization of Indonesian Muslim migrant workers. I use the Jamaahization because, you know, Jamaah, the meaning of Jamaah is together. It is an Arabic word. The meaning is together. We do it together, performing prayer together. Jamaah. we perform asar prayer, for example, jamaah, bil jamaah. It means we perform prayer together. So Jamaahization, if I could define, Jamaahization is a form of institutionalization which is emerged from a small Islamic informal community named Jamaah. So Jamaah is a small informal community in Islam. It's not a formal. It formed by itself. Jamaatization have strong togetherness. I mean, it's a process of a community which have strong togetherness in doing certain religious behavior, like, you know, studying Islamic knowledge, or maybe they agreed to do, you know, maybe fasting, out fasting together, and etc. So therefore, I would rather use the word Jamaahization instead of Pesantrenization, because I didn't find pesantren inside RQV. Before I deliver my first, first data collection result, I would like to explain to you. I would like to deliver a brief explanation about RQV Permai Penang. RQV Permai Penang is a branch of RQV in Malaysia. RQV is a educational institution focusing on educating youth generation, Islamic youth generation, to memorize verses in Quran. Center RQV is in Jakarta, but you know, Center RQV has a lot of branches. One of them is in Malaysia, and the branch in Malaysia, RQV in Malaysia, is under the management of Permai Penang. Permai Penang is an Indonesian NGO in Penang. RQV Permai Penang is a study group with the members are female Indonesian migrant workers in Penang. Female. All of the members are female. And it is unique that RQV, that if you uh, physically come to RQV Center in Jakarta, you will see that RQV is like pesantren, and it's real pesantren actually. But the president, also the manager, said that it's not pesantren. They would rather say RQV is like an NGO, because uh, some people say that pesantren is like, pesantren is good, but it has like a pressure in learning certain knowledge like Islamic knowledge, or memorizing Quran. RQV.
What's Pesantren? I think a lot of people do not know here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pesantren is, Islamic boarding school in Indonesia and Malaysia. Commonly, people would say Islamic boarding school by pesantren or pondok pesantren. Now, when you come to Jakarta and visit RQV Center in Jakarta, you will see that, wow, this is an Islamic boarding school. They have they I'm sorry. RQV has dormitories, office for the president, etc., and classes. Uh, However, the president, also the managers, would rather say that RQV is like an NGO, non-government organization. They avoid pesantren because some people say that pesantren is like an educational institution which educate a certain knowledge by pressure. The pressure. So it means that RQV actually want to avoid the pressure, so that people can memorize verses of Quran with happiness. So they also change the word teacher. Actually, usually in Islamic boarding school, the teacher, we can call the teacher by ustad or ustada. Ustad is for male teacher and ustada is for female. However, in RQV, they call the teacher by coach, because because they want to train the students to memorize verses in Quran. They have their own method. RQV Permai Penang's education method is not the same as in the RQV Center, because the member of RQV Permai Penang is all the members in RQV Permai Penang are Indonesian migrant workers. Migrant workers uh, must come to their workplace, must work 12 hours. Therefore, it is impossible for them to live in a place like pesantren, to live in a special dormitory with a tight agenda, focusing on memorizing verses in Quran, like in RQV Center in Jakarta. Therefore, the method is different and adapting to the condition of RQV Permai Penang's member. Here are my research questions. The first is, what are the paradigms of thoughts of Indonesian Muslim migrant workers about their involvement before and after they participate to RQV Permai Penang? I'm sorry, I forgot to delete the vis-a-vis the vis-a-vis, because it's no more related to pesantren. And actually, I can delete now. The second research question is, what are the paradigms of practices? The first is paradigm of thoughts, and the second is paradigm of practices or experiences of Indonesian Muslim migrant workers about their involvement before and after joining RQV Permai Penang. And the third, what meanings do they attach to their thoughts and practices, or to their experiences? What meaning they attach from their experiences about their involvement before and after joining RQV Permai Penang. And the research objectives are, the first, to understand the paradigms of thoughts of Indonesian Muslim migrant workers, about their involvement before and after participating to RQV Permai Penang. And the second is to understand the paradigm of experience. The first is to understand the paradigm of thoughts, and the second to understand the paradigm of experience before and after joining RQV Permai Penang. And the third is to examine the meanings they attach on their paradigms of thoughts and experience about their involvement before and after joining RQV Permai Penang. Since it's a phenomenological research, I would like to use abductive research strategy, because this research strategy uh, will support me to do this kind of research, because this research is investigating actors' social worth, the conceptualization and meaning to the social reality, and how they being involved and how they conceptualize their involvement in RQV Permai Penang. Sampling and data collection methods. For sampling method, I use purposive sampling. Purposive sampling require me to decide the criteria. The first is Indonesian Muslim migrant workers in Penang, not in Kedah or KL, in Penang. Yeah. So the second is members of RQV Permai Penang. I plan to conduct the interview for 25 to 35 people. Hopefully, I can do that, because most of RQV Permai Penang members right now are in Indonesia. They go back to their hometown. I don't know, maybe because COVID-19, or the contract is ended. I don't know. For data collection method, I plan to do in-depth interview. Not I plan, I did. I did in-depth interview, but I plan to conduct the interview by going to the class and scheduling time with them one by one, interviewing them. Yeah, everywhere, not only in the class, but also maybe in cafe, etc. But during pandemic situation, I cannot go out from university, therefore from USM. Therefore, I conduct the interview by online via Zoom and WhatsApp call. And second, I plan to do focus group discussion with them. I haven't do that. Maybe next time I will do focus group discussions with them. I have conducted interviews to 6+1 respondents. I use this kind of wording like Prof. Rivani 3 plus 1, 6 plus 1, there's 6 plus 1 respondents, because six respondents from RQV Permai Pinang members and one from RQV Center, and she was the coach from Indonesia. Every month RQV Center sent a coach to RQV in Malaysia every month, and I conducted interview to the very last coach sent to Malaysia. Six respondents from RQV members, RQV Permai Pinang members, and one from RQV Center, and she was the coach in RQV Permai Pinang. I did conduct this interview because to the coach, because I want to know more about RQV Center. The condition in RQV Center, is the condition same as in RQV Permai Pinang or not? Therefore, I said in the beginning of this presentation that RQV Center is more like Pesantren. I know it because I got the information from the coach, directly, because she lived there for about 4 years or 3 years. I forgot. And here are the findings of the results of my first data collection. I don't know whether it is right or not based on the correction from Prof. Rifani in my last presentation. I have to show where is the first order construct and second order construct. And the first, how the respondents interpret RQV Permai Pinang. The first order construct, they interpret RQV Permai Pinang is like a family. First, like a family, family. The difference between family and friend. Family has strong relationship between one another, and they say that they found a new family in RQV. Strong relationship between one and other members. And the second, they said that RQV is a place for sharing knowledge. In specific Islamic knowledge. The third is a place for fun learning, because the learning method is fun, not pressuring, but make them fun. Some of them said that they were exhausted after going back from the workplace, but when they come to the class for joining RQV agenda, they feel like refresh again, like fresh man after wake up from sleep, and they feel happy. I don't know how to describe. I'm sorry. And the fourth, one of them said that RQV is a gift. It's a gift. And the last, RQV is an organization that accommodates people for better religious knowledge. So the second order construct, second order construct is my interpretation. I don't know if it's right or not. Second order construct is my interpretation. So I interpret that that my respondents said that RQV Permai Pinang is a strong social, is an organization which has strong social cohesion. They share their stories. They trust each other. Feel like in a family. Therefore, I said they are in a strong social cohesion. And the second, RQV is an Islamic study group with good learning method. because learning by fun and etc. Also, the third, I think it's interesting. The third, RQV Permai Penang is a good way to unite Indonesian Muslim migrant workers. You know, before joining RQV Permai Penang, some of them, I will explain in the next slide. Respondents thought and practices before and after joining RQV Permai Penang. It is first order construct. Before joining RQV Permai Penang, they feel lazy and always feel tired after work, and they always after after work they go back to home and doing that activities every day, and after that they bored with that daily routine like working and going back to their apartment or their house. So, and some of them said that before joining RQV they always wasting time by sleeping and focusing on smartphone, updating social media, scrolling social media, today's activities, scrolling social media. Uh, Also, some of them experience hijrah or moving to a better person, like how to dress, how to behave, how to communicate. They were not wearing, hijab, uh, and in some point, they you know they met with friends, or one of them said that I have a really bad situation, almost commit suicide, and after meet good friends, which are the member of RQV. After meet friends from RQV, they feel like better, and afterwards they join RQV. Some of them said that they are unsympathetic person before joining RQV Permai Penang. They also fear of learning Quran because insecure. They feel like I'm not a good person, so why I must learn Quran? Why must I memorize verses in Quran? So one of them said that before joining RQV, they are stubborn. I don't know. Well, uh, after joining RQV, there are some big changes uh, in themselves, like feeling happy and not lazy anymore, spending time wisely by joining RQV. By joining RQV, they use their time wisely by they spend their time wisely by memorizing Quran, or you know have a conversation with the members of RQV. No, I'm sorry. It's not only a regular conversation, but it's a conversation like sharing each other, sharing knowledge, Islamic knowledge especially. And the third, strengthening their faith in Islam and how they dress, how they behave, how they communicate each other, strengthening their friendship and sisterhood, because all of the members are female. Become a caring person. It's amazing because before joining RQV, they are unsympathetic, uh, uncaring person, and after joining RQV, they change. It's amazing. So confident to learn Quran, also become more gentle. Who was stubborn become more gentle. It's amazing. Here are the second order construct. Before joining RQV, in in my interpretation, before joining RQV, the respondents are lazy and wasting time, and the second they experience self transformation without guidance, and after joining RQV, they feel happiness in learning and in their life, and the second, they found the right guidance, and this is the most important thing: the right environment that support them to be like current condition, like dress like a Muslimah, covering all their body, wearing hijab properly, uh, gentle in more gentle in talking with other people, and their behavior also. Yeah, that's all. And next, respondents' involvement in RQV Permai Penang. First order construct. Their involvement. They said that their involvements are as a volunteers in organizing agenda in RQV. RQV Permai Penang has a lot of agenda like camping, study tour, visiting some places in Penang, and doing tadabur, reflection, and maybe organizing outdoor activities. Yeah, more like camping. Yeah, and second, sharing their life stories each other. And the third, learning how to recite and memorize verses in Quran. And the last, inviting other female Indonesian Muslim migrant workers to join RQV Permai Pinang. So my interpretation is that their involvement are value rational actions. Value rational actions. They want to be volunteers. They wanted to be volunteers. They wanted to share their life stories to other members. They wanted to invite other female Indonesian Muslim migrant workers to join RQV to be better like them, in their opinion. Yeah. In order to get a meaningful value, like jannah. Jannah in Islam, Jannah is like heaven. Jannah also good life. And the second, keeping the friendly atmosphere. Sorry. Keeping the friendly atmosphere, by sharing their life stories each other, they maintain the friendly environment inside RQV Permai Penang. Therefore, some of respondents said that they are happy to join RQV Permai Penang because the environment is really friendly for them. Therefore, they said, I feel like find a new family here. Meet new friends is make me happy. Okay, that's all. Actually, there is additional information, maybe as a relation to what I found. Here are the respondents' favorite Islamic preachers or ustad, Indonesian ustad, Islamic preachers, famous Islamic preachers from Indonesia. The first, Ustadz Hanan Ataki, the second, Ustadz Abdul Somad, and the third, Ustadz Adi Hidayat. Maybe those Islamic preachers influence the members of RQV Permai Penang in their performance in worship every day, and how they thought about Islam and how they behave. Yeah, that's all, Prof. Thank you very much for the opportunity. That's all my findings.
Okay, all right, Rajih. Let's open the floor for your friends to come in and share their thoughts about your work. So basically, you have already conducted a online interview, right?
Online interview.
Completely. Yeah.
Well done, well done.
Right. Okay.
But for
Maybe.
me, face-to-face interview is better, Prof.
Oh yeah, certainly better face to face.
To face.
Go ahead. Anyone has some thoughts about Raj's research?
I have question, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Waduh.
Okay, well done, Rajih, for your initial finding. I think. Could you move to the first finding, Rajih? This one, that's great. Yeah, you explain about the place for fun learning. I don't exactly, because this is your interview. You are conducting interview with the young migrant worker, right? Young migrant worker. I don't exactly this order the first order construct. Maybe it could be related with. If there is when you ask why you join the RQP, that's the place for funding. I don't exactly. I don't know if you that's the answer. If there is the answering that they are willing to fulfill their leisure time. Leisure time. I don't exactly.
Leisure time.
Yeah, leisure time, spare time, because mostly all of them is the young migrant worker. I don't exactly. And when you are interview and there is such as the answer unconsciously, maybe. I don't exactly. Yeah. I don't exactly. If there is the such as the answer that refer to fulfilling leisure time for them. I don't exactly. That's it. Thank you.
Go ahead, Rajih.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry. What do you mean by fulfilling leisure time?
Yeah, I don't exactly. This place for fun learning. You thought.
Oh, I mean, fun learning is the method of education from RQV. So that the respondent said that it is fun for me. Before joining RQV, I thought that memorizing verses in Quran is a lot of pressure in that in it. However, after I joined RQV, I feel like what? What? Memorizing Quran is fun. It's not as difficult as I thought. Yeah, therefore, I stayed here. I read here a place for fun learning because the respondent itself said that it is a place for fun learning. Ini adalah tempat untuk belajar yang menyenangkan. Right.
What is that sound? Is it? Okay. Anyone else?
Maybe about jemaatization, about jemaah maybe. Uh,
Okay, let me, I will give my feedback. Okay, let's look at the idea of democratization. I think you do want to find out more, maybe what's the difference within
yeah,
democratization, then jamaah, the
yes,
Arabic word, what's the difference? Is there a difference? By the way, we have Mutadi and Samir here, so maybe they can share their views as well when you kid is also a teacher then, so you might know. So I don't think there's a big issue about changing it, but just need to know the difference. So because it's a part of your title of your research, right? So you can go, you should find out more if there's a difference in those things.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, some minor things before we talk about something bigger, important. Your research questions. Can you go to research questions? Your research questions. All right. The language here. What are the paradigms of thoughts of Indonesian Muslim migrant? I think Muslim M there should be big, right? And capital letter. Muslim migrant workers about their involvement before and after they participate in, not to participate in. Uh, so make that consistent. All right, there's something fundamental here. I thought about your research question. I'm not sure how would this, how the research questions would lead, since this is upon reflection of looking at your research question. How and then based on your initial findings, right? Initial findings. The idea of jemaatization, yeah, uh, it- it's not too apparent, it's not too obvious in the findings. Perhaps partly that's because the research questions, and your interview questions might not reflect this, right? Might not reflect the research on jemaatization, right? So
Yeah.
you know, so this one can go many different ways, right? So there's no linkage to the concept of jemaatization or any constructs that lead to that. Yeah. So there are a little bit of science here and there in the responses, in the findings, but a bit too far from the whole idea of jemaatization. So you might want to see, you might want to include another question, research question. But when you include this research question, it does mean that you would need to go back to this 6% or 7% to collect initial data. But this is pilot, so you could do that. Yeah? This is the whole idea of pilot study. So this is pilot study. So you might want to what is it? Yeah? To ask another research question about put in something about the idea of a collective group. You know, how how do this resemble Jemaah? How does it not resemble? But and then you there's an issue about what is it? Your research. Since research strategy is adaptive research phenomenology, then what happens is it can go many different ways, right? So like if you look at what ECO has done with her research, ECO has asked specific questions about halal and about toib, right? So they don't go haywire or not thinking about toib. So you got to get them to think about the concept, right? So phenomenology, you want to get them to think about the concept, to think about the experience, right? Uh, and if you can even ask the question, do you feel that you belong to a Jama'ah? You can even ask that question.
Okay.
So the fourth, that is the interview question. So you need to conceptualize the fourth question. Right? What extent do their experience resemble the idea of a Jama'ah, right? So you might want to ask a question. That's the fourth research question. You got me, Rajih?
Yes, bro.
Right?
So I just add one more research question related to Jamaah, yeah, bro.
That's right. That's right. You can formulate the question, play around with it a bit, right? So maybe something to what extent do they are the experiences reflect the experience of a Jama'ah, or do they their experiences resemble one that is of Jama'ah, or you can ask a broader research question. Would they what is it? Would they describe how close would they describe their experience with RQV to the experience of being with the Jama'ah? Then, to what extent or how close do they describe the experience with RQV with the experience of being in the Jama'ah? I mean, generally speaking, when I think individual or even a common Muslim person look at this, RQV is a Jama'ah by default. It becomes a Jama'ah when they come together and they do things. It becomes a Jama'ah, right? So what you want to do is to see how this Jama'atization is shaped. What shape of this does it take? Right? So the fourth question has to do with Jama'atization. So you can ask how formulate your own research question. Maybe you want to put in the word phenomena as well. Of how do they experience the phenomena of being with the Jama'ah, and do they attach the meaning of being with the Jama'ah with TV? Right? You play around with it, put in a good research question, right? So it must be your research question. But I think I've given you some. Right? So it does mean that by implication, you do want to go back and get more input from the six and beyond on the interview questions that are based on the idea of Jama'ah. Right? And how do they define Jama'ah? How do they look at the idea of Jama'ah? Can even ask the question, do you feel that you're with QV, you're part of a Jama'ah? And then let them define what Jama'ah is. Right? And then you can also ask, which is connected to the rest, what part of your experiences would you describe as an experience of a Jama'ah, right? So you can do that. Are you listening, Rajih?
Yes,
Yeah?
bro.
Yes, bro.
Okay, good. So that would be another one, yeah, for your research question. Can you move to the any of your first order, second order construct? Okay. Let me look at sampling again. I think the sampling doesn't change, right? Sampling again.
Sorry, bro.
Let me look at the sampling again.
Sampling.
Okay. Yeah. This time you just told me that many of them have gone back to Indonesia.
Yeah, bro. That's right.
Okay. That is another
Problem.
problem and challenge. The difference between Iko, you want to say something, Iko?
Yeah, it's quite challenging, Prof. If we
What?
cannot meet our respondents, it's quite challenging because if we just do either we do it phone or by WhatsApp phone or video call or whatever, networking internet. However, sometimes the internet connection unstable, so that's
Yeah.
quite challenging.
Yeah. Not as effective. Just like today, we have presentation problem, communication problem, online thing. Yeah. Now, this is another aspect where when you talk about Pesanteranization, Pesantren implies a place, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to feel like you're part of a place or a space when there is no space, no place, physical place, right? So, but Jemaah might be somewhat different. So Jemaah is about people coming together and doing things together. Now, going deeper to this part of the research, I don't think whether the are you okay? Moving around.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
turning off the
I'm
lamp.
turning off the lamp.
Turning on the lamp.
Turning on the lamp.
Okay. It's a bit noisy now. Okay, calm down. All right. All right. What I see in your go to your first order, second order construct. This is where I think there's a lot of work if you've done. Okay, when you say first order construct, right? What you want is actually the actual meaning, the actual phrases, the actual words that are from the social actors themselves, right? So this do not seem like it might be, but it do not seem like these are the phrases that are coming from the social actors. Okay, so you need to have the phrase. I feel like I'm coming to a family. Yeah, that's one phrase.
Oh, I
I
see.
see.
Yes, yes. Going to RQV is going to my family. When I mean RQV, I feel that the person next to me is a sister. There you go.
So I need to
So I need to
put
put
the
the
statement, bro.
statement, bro.
That's right. That's called first order construct. This is second order construct. When you put a family, this is if it's your own word, more so, right? I do not know it's but what you have written here, it looks like a second order construct, right? It's something that
see.
you have assigned a particular construct to a group of phrases. Right? So what you want to do is, if there's a family there, there are little phrases that you want to group these phrases. It doesn't have to be like 10, 3 will be enough. It will be enough, right? So, then you say, okay, and family as an experience. Place of sharing knowledge. You got the what did they say that they is about place of sharing knowledge? The actual code. So the actual code are the actual constructs, right? The first order construct. Oh, by the way, Zhao Lei, if you're doing something similar to this, right? You need to note that eventually you will need to do something similar. First order, second order construct, right? The theme and analysis of theme is a thematic analysis, right? So this is where you need to demonstrate this, Rajih, in your presentation, right?
Yes,
So you
Yes, bro.
otherwise it's and then I'm not sure how you jump from your first order to second order construct, because the second order construct usually is built on your first order construct. So um, I'm not sure how you get there. Yeah. So what you want to do, what you want to demonstrate in your presentation is to show the first order construct, which are actual quotes, right? Not the whole sentence necessarily, but the part that's relevant to the particular construct, right? Just take the phrase or sometimes it's a word, sometimes it's 2 words, sometimes it's 3 words, sometimes it's a phrase, right? It could be a sentence, but not a too long sentence, right? Unless you are writing in your chapter, there's a different thing. Now we are doing kind of like a chart thing, right? A chart, right? So on the left are the actual words, on the right is so then the left will be more like this, the actual quotes, and then you have the first order construct, and then you can build on, and this is where you move towards theorizing. The theorizing is where you move to a higher order analysis, right? You got what I'm saying, Rajih?
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro.
So,
So,
how
how about
deciding
the
the
second order construct, bro?
See, I'm not sure how you get to the strong social cohesion there, Rajih. How do you get to that point? I'm not sure. So usually, so what you have, and you look at Eco's thesis, you'll know more. Yeah, a good example, a good benchmark is Eco's thesis. So Eco did a first order, second order construct. So the second order construct, I think what happens here is your so-called second order construct is actually a higher level of your second order construct, where you had the first order construct, you group them together, right? You have a general theme, and you move from the theme to to your own analysis, your own words,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
technical word, or a conceptual word, or particular theory. Yeah, that's a second order construct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro. Actually, I put strong social cohesion because
most
most of the explanation is related to the friendship, family.
I
I
meet new
meet new
friends.
friends. Yeah.
Okay, but you got to demonstrate that. I don't know what strong social cohesion is referring to what now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Therefore,
It's my fault.
it's my fault, bro.
Yeah, you got to show that connection. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. You want to say something? You look like you have something to say there.
Yes, Prof. Perhaps if you okay, I want to share my slide, Prof, about
Yeah.
the second, the third order construct, the first order construct.
Yeah.
Is it okay, Prof?
Go ahead, please. Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Sure.
My screen. Okay, do you see it? About halalan about Taib food law paradigm. Can you see?
Not yet.
Oh, sure.
Haven't yet.
Okay.
Okay, it's coming.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful here. It's a work of art.
Actually, it's messed, but I cannot arrange it beautifully, so I just do my best. Okay, this is it already slide share?
It is.
Yep.
Okay.
You got to enlarge it, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, this one I try to construct about the thoughts on the Taib food law paradigm based on the respondents, and this one are the first order construct. This is the second order construct. This is the third order construct. So actually, I just compiled it as two level of order construct. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So about the health, I got the themes of health based on the respondents' sentence that health is beneficial, no damages, delicious, no overeat, chemical aspects, and health conditions. For cleanliness, sorry. So about the wholesomeness first. The second order construct, the wholesomeness, and the second order constructs comes from the health, cleanliness, intention, goodness of process, and food quality standard. That's as a first order construct. The first order construct comes from this one. So all of this is as the second order construct about the Taib food law paradigm, which are wholesomeness, Taib compliance, Taib in processing, quality assurance standard, food presentation, and so on. And I got this second order constructs from this first order construct. So I conduct the result about the Taib food law paradigm on thematic methods by constructing the themes and sub-themes about Taib food law paradigm. That's it. Thank you.
Thank
for
you very much,
example.
Nicole. That is good sharing. That's an important sharing right there. So eventually, see, you have this. This is the theory building part. You have the different ontologies, right? Ontological components of what Toy food law paradigm looks like. And then, it's based on the so based on the first order construct. So the second order construct is where they start building the theory, they start explaining what halal toiban food is. There's different parts to it. So you got the idea, Rajih, yeah? Rajih?
Yes, Prof.
Okay.
Still. Okay.
Okay. Right. So let me see what else. Now, the purpose of your presentation today is to prepare you for the presentation for Centris Committee. Your second presentation. You haven't done your second one yet, right?
Yeah.
Have you or you have?
Haven't, Prof.
Right? You have not, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you have
For
not.
pilot project, right, Prof?
What's that?
For pilot project.
For pilot project, yeah, basically your second presentation. There's only two presentations for Centris. One is your proposal, the other one is a pilot findings, the findings.
Pilot findings, yeah.
Findings, you haven't done your findings presentation, no, man? No, okay. Somehow I don't hear you, yeah. So for your findings, can you go back to your slide presentation and share again? All right. So for your findings, right? For the findings chapter, the findings presentation, what you need to demonstrate is that you have collected a number of findings, and you have done, you have put them together, and you have done your initial analysis. It doesn't have to be a very extensive analysis. The initial analysis, right? So you could put together your first order constructs, and then you can demonstrate some analysis of your first order construct into your second order construct, right? So that is sufficient. But what you want to do is to actually show your findings, and you can avoid not showing your findings. So the showing the findings is a big part of your second second presentation. It's called findings presentation, right? Pilot project, not project, your research, project research, right? So you want to expand this. If you can expand like what ECO has done, would be good. Although you only have 6, which is fine, right? You don't have any yet. You do not have to go back and collect more data yet at this point, right? Remember, now you have new research question, right, Rajih? So you don't have to do that yet. You can proceed by expanding this and then presenting it to the group, right, to the committee. So remember, the whole idea of pilot research is actually to pilot, to test what your methodology, and you get the results, and then you improve further, so that you can make any changes. It's like mid-course correction. You don't want to wait until the end of the process to make the changes. You want to change it right at the beginning when you collect sufficient data, right? So you can demonstrate this. So what I would suggest you to do is to arrange a presentation to Sempris sometime next month, right? And do not wait any longer.
Oh,
Yeah?
congrats.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. So go for this. So what you need to do is to expand your first order construct right now, and to show some analysis of that first order construct, right? So then there must be more. So what you saw in Eco's presentation just now was just a visual, a kind of a summary, right? But underneath that first order construct were the actual quotes. So Eco did
Yes.
not show. Yeah.
Yes, the actual one is the comments or the quotes from the respondents.
Yeah,
So
the actual.
I collect their quotes from the respondents. Then I try to
Summarize.
give the meaning, summarize
Summarize.
to the sub-themes and themes.
Yes. You basically summarize. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you.
And then the summary is actually the first order construct, basically. So you put them together and then different. But then the summary is actually, it could be the actual words. Oftentimes it is the actual words.
Yes, sir.
So you got that, right, Rajih? Yeah? Okay, so imagine when you talk about a family, you probably have 3 quotes or 3 comments that suggest it is a family, a place for sharing knowledge. You probably have 3 or 4 as well, right? Phrases or something before that. Now, how you organize it as far as visual is concerned, it's up to you. You can do it, from right to left, left to right, bottom up, top down. You could do that, and whichever way that is good. This is a presentation, not the actual write-up yet, right? So you can do that. So arrange for a date. Do not wait too long. Maybe 1 month's time. Arrange for a date. So you can submit to Kak Shima now to request for a proposal, findings presentation to the committee. So start the process going. Now, follow up from your 4th research question, which actually is probably half of the story of your research, right? Which is the Jemaatization. Otherwise, you'll be examining the experience, not capturing the essence of the Jemaah. Now you want to capture the essence of the Jemaah. So you got to demonstrate that. So now, Rajih, you got to think about the sensitizing concept of a Jemaah, right? So what do you think Jemaah is, right? And oftentimes when we talk about Jemaah, in the context of Nusantara, Indonesia, Malaysia, is often related to religion, right? Although sometimes I know Indonesians are good at making jokes about Jemaah and all that. Like we commit crime as a Jemaah, rather playing joke. Something like that. Usually Jemaah is associated to religious activities, right? So so you identify the sensitizing concept. You do need that, Rajih. So eventually you need to improve your literature review on what Jemaah is, just like you did a literature review on Pesanteran, right? So you need to do a literature review on Jemaah and then see how that links to that. Now, going back to phenomenology, and Chaule, this is relevant to you and the rest of you who want to do qualitative research and to bring out the essence. You want to capture the essence of the phenomena from the social actors, right? And this is what Kusama wants to do as well, to capture the essence of the phenomena from the social actors. Sometimes it is not obvious to the social actors themselves. Sometimes the social actors have not thought about it, right? So you need to go and dig from their mind. So like Iko asking about halal, that's always the Toiban tend to be taken for granted, or they have not thought about it, or they have not, so you got to help them capture. So likewise, you have not reached this stage, but then you will need to think about this. When you have CSR as a concept, right, you will need to have sensitizing concept for CSR when you ask the employees. So you do not want to just ask, what's your view about CSR? Maybe some of them don't even know what CSR is, right? I know I've told you my experience before, right? When in Sweden, right, they are very advanced in CSR. I went and asked the manager there, what's your policy on CSR? The manager asked me back, what is CSR? And this is Scania, the Rolls Royce of trucks and lorries, right? The top-notch company, Scania, the trucks. So instead of asking CSR of Rajih, instead of asking Jemaah directly, you ask the components of CSR, right? And then ask them, what do you think about companies' responsibility to their products. What do you think of companies' responsibility to the community? Right? For Rajih, what do you think about the idea of Jemaah? How would you look at Jemaah? What is the you start defining? So Jemaah would have solidarity, would have the brotherhood or sisterhood or something, right? So you got to relook at Jemaah as a concept there, and then look at the different constructs that make up Jemaah, right? And then ask those constructs in a layman language. So you got to ask on ordinary language, yeah. Charlie, you too, Yusuf. And then I think, in Chinese, what? 事业责任事业什么? What's the Chinese word for CSR? I can't hear basically.
社会责任。
社会责任 okay.
Yeah.
社会 society 责任responsibility. Yeah.
企业社会责任。
企业社会责任。
Yeah,
企业
corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
企业社会责任。
于是，这郑老师会讲。Okay. So then you got the help to break the concept apart, and there's environment responsibility to the environment and all that, right? So likewise for Rajih, when you talk about Jemaah, what are the common things that the Jemaah practices? What does a Jemaah have? Jemaah usually has a leader, right? There's another part, right? Jemaah has followers. Jemaah has certain practices. It has certain rituals. Things like that. So you want to bring that up. Rajih, you got my point now? Rajih, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. Rajih, I can't hear you. Yeah. Or something wrong with the mic.
Disappear, sir.
Huh?
Disappear.
No, Rajih is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get visual, but I cannot get his voice.
Hello, Rajih.
It's okay, Rajih, right? You can hear me, Rajih, yeah? Yeah, but you cannot speak. That's nice. Yeah. So Rajih, that's my feedback for you. Anyone else want to share anything with Rajih? About remember you're studying the migrant workers, so there might be some dimension about migrant workers that you want to capture as well.
So
Yeah.
there is the interesting finding from the Rajih that the young migrant worker actually they tend to follow certain ulama, this popular ulama in the last finding.
Yeah.
He mentioned three ulama that's very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, popular. I think this initial finding, good initial finding, I think.
That's
So,
yeah.
I think maybe that how I think the another other finding, but I think the good finding that tell about the what it called the young people tendency to certain
Ideology.
Islamic school figure.
Certain Islamic. Was it okay?
Certain Islamic public figure. Yeah.
And your point is?
The point is, but it's not another question actually, sir. But of course, this is not related with the recent question.
Yeah. Well, let me see that. Maybe there's something about the Jemaah that leads them to want to associate with certain
That's right.
figures.
I mean That's right, sir.
Right? Yeah. There's something about Jamaah. So it's after joining the Jamaah, they formulate a affinity, this the attraction to
Yeah.
religious figures, right? So that's
Yeah.
another interesting thing too. But what type of religious leaders is also interesting, right?
That's right.
Yeah, man, is the Ustaz Somad, Abdul Somad, right? Ustaz,
Yeah.
so
Adi Hidayat, Ustaz Adi Hidayat, Ustaz Abdul Somad, and the last one is Ataki, right? Rajih.
Ananataki.
sure.
Actually, they
Ustaz
have their own
yeah.
characteristic.
Characteristic. That's related with certain good and good the Islamic construction, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
okay, because your research is not not discuss about about certain Islamic ideology. Maybe I think.
Oh, no, Muzakir, not necessarily. When we
Okay.
talk about Jamaah, usually
Yeah.
there's ideology in it.
Oh, I see.
Actually, like Ustadz Adi
Am I
Hidayat,
right? Jamaah usually has an ideology. It could be the santai, relaxing ideology, right? Neutral. It could be a very hardline ideology. It could be we focus on just this ideology, or we focus on two things ideology. That is,
So I think it's very interesting, sir. So it reveal that the young people in Malaysia, in certain young people group that has the tendency to certain religious figure or in certain jamaah that has the what you call the Islamic thought or Islamic practice. Yeah.
yeah, yes. And that would be something very telling or revealing. So Rajih will need to play your role as a social scientist to dig out the meanings attached to certain figures. Right?
yes,
And this is after the monetization process. Right. So I remember when I went abroad, United States, UK, the form of religious movement there is much more hardline than the ones in Malaysia. So we went to Western societies. the Malaysians went to Western societies. Some of them become much more a hardliner. When we come back to Malaysia, Malaysia is not so hardline. So it's interesting how the Jamaah transform the individual. So, for instance, I would go to the Malaysian event in the United States or even UK, United Kingdom. They will not allow the men and women come together. They have some protest against free dancing and all that, mixed dancing. Some protest against cultural night, right? But when I was back in Malaysia, I said, well, this is not something sinful. So the demonetization process leads to a different ideology of religion, right? So Rajih?
yes, bro.
Yeah, can you hear me? I'm not.
Yes, bro.
This is your session, man. Come on.
I'm listening, bro. I'm listening.
You're listening. Good. Okay. This is really okay.
It's an any session, but like my session, bro.
Okay. Yeah. So, Rajay, you want to go deeper than this? Yeah, this is a phenomenological study of demonetization. So you want to bring up the process of how they become. I don't know.
Sorry, bro.
Okay,
Seems that there's a problem with your microphone.
My microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my microphone. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, I'll shift to the other. You can still hear me, right?
Sure. Yes, yes, bro.
But I think it's your microphone, right? Because I'm just relying on one microphone.
I think there's the echo.
It's echoing.
Whose echo is it? My echo. Now it's fine. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay now.
It's yours, Rajih, the co-host,
Co-host.
which means it's you. Yeah, okay, now it's fine.
No, I think your microphone, bro. I don't know.
Yes, it's coming from you. So you want to turn on Rajih's microphone, not Muhammad Ribani bin Bustami co-host microphone. Right. Okay. So Rajih's microphone is fine. This is what happened when it's too sophisticated. So I just want to emphasize the idea is to the meanings. You must capture the meaning. So eventually you want to demonstrate what Eco has shown in the findings, right? The meanings they attach to this whole phenomena. So it is a phenomenological study, so you can look at that. I want to share with you all who is doing research on organization another type of so-called another type of research approach in understanding organization, and it is called sense making. Sense making, right? It's a combination of few fields, including psychology, anthropology, and a number of fields, right? So sense making is another type of deep understanding of the social actors within an organization. So sense making in an organization is some have carried out research on sense making in understanding CSR's organizational CSR, right? So that's another one. So some of you might want to explore this method or methodology sense making, right? So especially in organization, and this is relatively new. Because anthropologists usually do not come in and study organization, right? So the sociologists who study organization, or the psychologists who study organization. But then sense making would look at organization not as an entity, but more as an activity. So there's this understanding, negotiating, perhaps reconstructing and reproducing of organization. So it's not organization is not a separate entity. Organization is an activity that people negotiate, recreate, reproduce. So that's another thing, right? Including Charlie, you're looking at the organization. So there are literature on sense making in organizations. So you might want to. This falls under organizational studies too. In fact, the whole idea of organizational psychology, right, was born more or less from sense making. At one point, there is no organizational psychology, but eventually, organizational psychology emerged. If I'm not mistaken, it was from sense making. Right? So you can look at that as one sense making. Yeah? Okay, Rajih, you have any question? Any more points you want to discuss with me? Rajih? Nothing so far. So right now, way forward is not just to arrange a committee presentation to the committee, but also to improve your slide and to improve your research questions and interview questions, right? You can proceed on collecting new data because you know, there's been a couple of changes in your journey, so you want to pick up, right? Why do I raise my hand here? Why do I raise my hand? You raise your hand. Rajih, I raise my hand. Okay.
You raise hand, sir.
I don't know. I didn't know that. Why do I want to raise my hand?
You are interrupting yourself.
I'm interrupting myself. Yeah. So Rajih, 3 tracks, yeah, Rajih. Oh, Rajih come in again. Three tracks right now. One is improving your slide. Second is arranging your the schedule to make a findings presentation to the committee. A third, continue to collect your find data. Continue to have interviews. Like I said last time, you know, you interview a minimum 2 or 3 a week. You know, have that as a target, you know, and because you want to complete that. Oh, and this is true for all those who have made your research proposal presentation. Yeah, write up your chapters: chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So once you complete your research proposal, in fact, before that, you can continue. You can start your research proposal write up. But so at this point, like you could start writing your research proposal more aggressively now, more extensively now, right? Since you have a much more high level clarity of what you want to do. So I do expect eventually to read your chapters, chapter 1, 2, 3. So Rajih as well, you know, chapter 1, 2, 3, and then you should start moving on chapter 4. Okay, we'll take a short, very short break, a 3-minute break, and we'll come back at 3:43. 3:43, right? So the next one is, who's the next one? Rajih, who's the next one?